We are going to go ahead and get started. Thanks to each of you for being here. We're really glad that you have come to learn about the Giving Grove Orchard and Community Orchard program. I'm Susie Marshall. I'm the founder and executive director of Grow North Texas. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. I want to give a big shout out to Wyanella Henderson Green from the Dallas Coalition for Hunger Solutions, who has taken care of a lot of the details. Some of you may have registered through her emails. You may be familiar with the coalition. Wyanella, do you want to say, just come tell everybody about the coalition?
Thank you for being here. So glad to see you. The Dallas Coalition for Hunger Solutions has been around since 2012, and we are a collaborative of organizations and individuals working together to develop strategies and initiatives to reduce food insecurity and promote access to healthy food for our neighbors in Dallas County. So this is part of that, and thank you for being here. Looking for community partners. Glad you're here.
Yes. Wyanella does an amazing job. The coalition is a really great organization. I've been involved with it since the beginning. Great way to connect with people doing similar work on issues of hunger and food access. So these are our sponsors today, Grow North Texas, and then you are at Owenwood Farm and Neighbor Space, which is a collaborative project that is repurposing this building. This was Owenwood United Methodist Church, and it is still owned by the United Methodist Church and overseen by White Rock UMC, but there are several nonprofits, us and Aspire Literacy Center, East Dallas Yoga, Hope Supply, White Rock Community Church, and a few other people that use the space regularly. And we are here to talk about Giving Grove Orchards. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Grow North Texas first. We're a nonprofit that works to connect North Texans to food, farms, and community in order to have a stronger local food system. We want to enrich the land, provide economic opportunity through food projects, value-added foods like making foods from produce and food that's grown, growing food, and then also making sure that there's equitable access and working on those issues and creative solutions to our food access issues. These are our programs. We use the Owenwood logo for our farm, which is out the back, and you will see that in a little while. This is our 4th year that we've been growing back there consistently and well. So you will see that. All the produce from there goes to our Fresh Stop farm stands or a couple of other places, but mainly to Fresh Stop. And Fresh Stop farm stands is a program that takes local produce to WIC clinics, Women, Infants, and Children clinics, to facilitate, mainly to facilitate the benefit. There's an extra benefit for those families called the Farmers Market Nutrition Program. And it gives them a little bit of money each year to buy fresh fruits and vegetables, and it's for farmers markets. We don't have farmers markets in the right places in our city right now, so we're taking that produce to the families at the Ledbetter WIC Clinic and then up at Spring Valley. So that's really successful. And it's one of our creative ways to get people connected to produce. Market Provisions is a grocery store, micro grocery at the Dallas Farmers Market. It has primarily locally sourced foods, shelf-stable value-added foods, produce, meat, eggs, milk, all the things you would want. It provides a lot of those vendors who might sell on the weekends at farmers markets. It provides them with a 7-day outlet for that. Farm Success is a beginning farmer rancher education program that is mostly funded through USDA funding, provides education webinars, technical assistance, and other resources for people wanting to get into farming. And then Giving Grove is our newest project. And I am going to let Jerry take over.
Good morning, everyone. So happy to see you all here. And I am so excited about this program. So Gladys has, strict instructions if I talk too fast, to give me the slow down sign. So any of you can do that, though, because I have a tendency to get a little overzealous about things that I'm excited about. So in November, Grow North Texas formalized our affiliation with the Giving Grove. And what I'm going to do this morning is going to give you an overview of the Giving Grove. Giving Grove is a national program. Give you an overview of that, a bit of that history, just so you can understand where we're coming from. And then I will talk about, more specifically about how the program works, how it's working so far here in Dallas. And then we'll have some time for questions. We're also going to acknowledge we have, I believe this fall, or the Dallas planting season is November through February. I believe we're going to have 18 sites that we will be planting little orchards during that time. So some of our partners for those sites are here this morning, and the stewards, and that's really an important part, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the Giving Grove mission, as you can see, is to provide healthy calories, strengthen communities, and improve the urban environment through a national network of community orchards. And as we get in, I'd like you all just to think for a minute about your interaction, your personal history with fruit trees. And if you can remember, a time when you picked or planted, but more picked. I know my personal favorite memory is mulberries. We grew up with a big mulberry tree, and I'd be sent out with a bucket, and some would make it to the bucket, but more wouldn't. And then I can remember my grandmother putting an old sheet down on the ground and shaking it, to get the fruit that would come off the tree. And so I've been prompted, those memories come up as you start thinking about planting trees and the impact of that. Most of us have some personal history with fruit trees. Many probably tied to your grandmother, but however, whatever it is, I just encourage you to kind of think about that as we go through this day, because that's really what we're working towards. The Giving Grove approach is to support neighborhoods. We want to be invited into neighborhoods, and I know some of you, I've been calling you, but it's we only want an opportunity where we're invited and wanted, for participation. So, in general, it's planting perennials, fruit trees, nut trees, other perennials to provide an additional source of food in our communities. I look at this slide and I get so excited. So this is, as of spring of 2022, the sites that are associated nationally with the Giving Grove program, the statistics, the national impact. So 64 million servings? I mean, that's just, you think about that in the lifetime of an orchard, and an orchard can be 30, 40, 50 years in its lifetime. Right now, so that many projected servings coming out of 304 sites. Almost 1 million pounds of annual production potential from those sites. Over 1,200 volunteers, 600 plus stewards, and approximately 3 million servings annually. To me, that's what this is all about. We can work towards adding and building those numbers in our region, in our communities. That's what it's about. So currently, these are the little red apples are the current Giving Grove sites and Denver. I don't know why Denver didn't get turned red yet. So there's 9 national sites. The organization was founded in Kansas City in 2013. And it was started by a group of people that wanted to have a positive impact on their neighborhoods, especially the communities that were struggling with issues of food security. So since 2013, Kansas City has installed over 200 little orchards in their city. In 2017, they were so successful with the program that in 2017, they reorganized and launched the National Affiliation Program. So most of these red, here's Omaha, Louisville, St. Louis, Louisville, Memphis, and then just this spring, Dallas, Atlanta, Seattle, and Denver came on board. The other green, the apples that aren't red, are target cities. The National Giving Grove goal is to have 20 cities by 2025. The target cities are all large urban areas that have a population of at least 75,000 residents who are dealing with issues of food security. So that's kind of the bottom line, is to get into, allow communities that do struggle with food issues the opportunity to participate in this program. So we empower neighborhoods. Really, people are at the whole core of this. So when we find neighborhoods that are interested in doing a Giving Grove orchard, and I guess you can think of it much like you think of community gardens, only community orchards. So the average orchard size is 15 trees. Some are smaller. Our minimum size usually is about 5 trees, but some can be larger depending on space and desire. We believe that neighborhoods should play a key role in their food sovereignty by determining where their food comes from and what food that they want in their communities. Community partners, and this is really the core of the program, is working with partners to identify what their wants are. The community is really responsible for the orchard. What we do is we provide lifelong support for the orchard and the community members that agree to take care of it. Environmental stewardship. So one of the things that I immediately fell in love with when I discovered the Giving Grove program was all of the training that they have in place. They have training on not just the orchard care, say pruning and maintenance. It's all a holistic program, so we're not adding harsh, toxic chemicals, and sometimes that makes it harder to get good fruit if you're not willing to use pesticides and herbicides. But we believe that it's worth it. It's worth the extra effort to have good, clean food, and also it helps support the environment by not adding toxins in that. The orchards also have the added benefit of adding shade, sequestering carbon, helping with stormwater runoff. And so it's really, beyond the food, it really goes, it's much broader than that. This is an area that's, I guess, particularly difficult. Some of the maps that I have seen show that the lack of green space and tree canopies almost directly overlays when you see history of redlining in organizations. And so I think we all have a responsibility, or hopefully, to right some of those things. And so planting trees, there's a lot of tools becoming available, the environmental justice screening, tree equity scores that combine both demographic and the environmental factors to target areas that most need more shade. Often that corresponds directly with more food or easier access to food in a sustainable way. We also have curriculum already developed for both primary and secondary schools. So we're very interested in working with schools to provide that, whether the orchard is on site or nearby. And those curriculum are openly available to anyone on the Giving Grove website. So I encourage you, if you're at all interested, to look at that and see if it might be something that you're interested in. So you can Google, it seems to me I roll I'm a big eye roller. I've tried to stop, but I can't. And so, when they start talking about the health benefits of outdoor time and being outdoors, to me, it's like, do we really need studies to prove that? But apparently we do. And they're easy to find, to be able to, and my own personal favorite is, I truly believe that digging in the dirt helps alleviate low mood and depression, because I've tested it many times, Bad days turn into good days when I'm outside digging around, and especially then, when you get to harvest time, that's a particularly joyful thing to participate in. So there's all kinds of studies about lowering blood pressure, and obviously a healthy diet will impact health issues. But this one, a personal favorite, but it does get an eye roll occasionally, because I'm like, come on, of course it does. Okay, how does the program work? So neighborhoods agree to own and take care of and water and weed, and really the biggest, one of the biggest responsibilities, we call it scouting, but you can call it scouting, I call it getting to know your trees. So on a weekly basis, looking at each tree, might talk to it a little, you don't have to, but you might. And, but really watching it to see if there's any signs of disease or pests that you see, aphids. We've gotten to know aphids already. And so that is just an important part about, you know, kind of the weekly responsibility of the community volunteers that agree to care for the orchards. What we, with the Giving Grove staff will provide, we will provide the plants, the trees, we'll help with the design, help with assessing the site so that we can see if there's any preparatory work that needs to be done. We will help with planting. And then there's lifetime of coaching, of classes, both in person and online and recorded and live and you name it. It's probably going to be a part of the mix. We do provide the holistic spray ingredients that the volunteers will use to, and there's a regimen of holistic spraying that has shown to be helpful. It doesn't take care of everything, but helpful in maintaining healthy trees. Funding when it's available. Everybody usually likes hearing that. And then assistance with organizing within the community, getting your neighborhood and community members involved in the orchard. So this is the list of what the site stewards are responsible for. Watering, most important, especially in times like this. Weeding, mulching, pest management, and the holistic spraying regimen. Thinning fruit, pruning, and harvesting. We ask that at least a portion of the harvest either go to the neighborhood, directly to the community. Many sites are open and where folks can wander up. Signage is sometimes helpful. It's like, don't harvest yet, not quite ready, maybe next week, and you know, to help folks know and not, you know, pick too early. But that, or in neighborhoods where that is not the case, then we ask that at least 50% be donated to an area food bank or food distribution organization. Access to water, that's kind of critical. And so those are the really bare bones requirements for a site to participate in the Giving Grove program. So before I got all excited looking at the national statistics, these are the per orchard statistics. So for an average of 15 trees, annual production of nearly 4,000 pounds, that's 2 tons of fruit. That's a lot of fruit, y'all. 12,000 servings, and these are pre-inflation cost estimates, so you can, you know, tack on whatever percentage you think is right, you know, and hopefully it'll stop soon and settle down. But, you know, a lifetime production potential of, you know, just under 75,000 pounds, and this is all goes to the community, goes to the people in the neighborhood for free. Okay, so we had a little fun this spring. We planted our demonstration orchard that we will take a quick walk through because I know it's getting hot. Let's see, how was I going to do this without messing things up? But Rusty Hahn, who's helping record things today, helped us develop this video. It's short, it's cute. Welcome to the Giving Grove. We recently planted our first Giving Grove orchard in the Owenwood Farm and neighborhood space in Far East Dallas. We are so excited to be working with this community, and in addition to being a significant source of food where we've planted over 40 trees and berry bushes, we are excited for this to be a gathering place and an outdoor classroom for our Giving Grove stewards and the local elementary and middle school students. I'm so grateful to be working with the Grow North Texas staff. We've come together as a team to plant orchards and tend to orchards,
and that makes this all really exciting and a lot of fun.
The idea that the Giving Groves are cared for collaboratively by the community is, I think, something that will be impactful in Dallas. There's something very empowering about having access to food in your own neighborhood that you can have some control over. It's not dependent on a corporation. It's not dependent on someone else coming in. It's you and your community and your neighborhood providing food for your neighbors.
I'm so excited to be part of the Giving Grove program here in Dallas. As a member of the community, I've grown up in the neighborhood. It's really important for me to be able to participate in programs like this. Being able to take a part in something that's going to help the whole community is amazing, and I'm really grateful for the Giving Grove program for this opportunity.
So I'd like to give a special shout out to Farm Manager Gene Boyd and bee expert Brandon Pollard. They have been super to work with and so much help. Our Giving Grove mission in North Texas is to plant little orchards all around the region, and specifically in urban areas that are facing the challenge of food security. If families are able to walk from their homes to a neighborhood orchard and pick fresh food for their families, then we've accomplished what we've set out to do.
So that said, community really does grow on trees. Orchards foster a sense of belonging. You know, they're a place to gather. They can be a place of education. Only that's my next one. Nope, sustainability, all of the positive environmental impacts that any kind of gardening, orcharding, you know, can have on a community, specifically when you avoid harmful chemicals to keep those out of the food, out of the environment. Knowledge does grow on trees. When you train enough and read enough and talk enough and get children involved. Health does grow on trees. There's the eye roll part, right? Of course it does. You know, just being outside when it's not 100, that helps when it's not 100. But to be able to get, you know, good healthy food over a lifetime, you know, one of the exciting things is these orchards could have the potential to feed generations of people in the neighborhood. And kindness grows on trees. There's some familiar faces. It's like it's hard to be unhappy. It's hard to be unhappy when you're outside in that kind of environment with other people. And